Slovakia. It's being a Canadian in hockey, young or old. It's the weight of the nation going in the favor. Canada began play last night. A hard-fought victory against the United States. But tonight they play again and face the Slovaks, who will call on Minnesota Wild star Marian Gaborik to help lead the charge. It's World Cup hockey next on ESPN2. It's the electric Bell Center, right in the heart of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the Toyota World Cup of hockey. What an atmosphere, as tonight it's Team Canada against Team Slovakia. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Emrick. 24 hours ago, it was that victory over their nemesis from the past World Cup, the United States. And think what it was like for Canadian fans, because a guy from about 40 miles from here, Martin St. figured on the scoring of both goals. A guy from Montreal was in goal and made some big saves in the third period, Martin Brodeur. And the captain of Team Canada also showed us Darren paying those magic hands, Mario Lemieux.
He sure did, and it wasn't necessarily on the score sheet. Mario Lemieux, though, obviously we know that he hasn't been a healthy athlete the last couple of years, but boys, he worked hard to get back into the lineup. This morning we were wondering, would Mario even play in a back-to-back situation? He said yes, he talked to the coaches, he's a go for tonight's game. Think about what happened in this game one against the USA. Mario Lemieux was playing the left wing, and he was physical, but in front of the net, while the American team was really taking momentum, Connor Walchuk was a little too close to the liking of Team Canada, and so Mario Lemieux stepped in. It was a big part of the game. Mario's got such great presence for these young players around him.
Well, the opposition tonight, Team Slovakia, has a scouting report. Look out, they can shoot out your lights.
Well, their top 6 forwards are magnificent. Team Canada better be careful, because they can score with anybody. These are two of the premier wingers in the entire National Hockey League, Marian Hossa of Ottawa and Marian Gaborik of the Minnesota Wild. Canada better watch out and make sure that they take away the passes. In the meantime, defensively, Zdeno Chara is a horse. He will play 40 minutes on the blue line. He was a runner-up for the Norris as the best defenseman in the National Hockey League.
Second game of the preliminaries for Canada, the very first game for Team Slovakia. But all the fire is coming up. Any prize money they get out of this, it goes to hockey and to charities. It's for pride.
Of course, we're here, though, to talk a little hockey. And earlier today, we had a good one, Barry. Sweden sliding past the Czech Republic 4-3.
Well, the Czechs for 20 minutes looked like they cared about this tournament, and they looked like one of the best teams in the world in the third period against the Swedes, but it was too little, too late.
Sweden, the big win. And what about Canada? They beat US 2-1. What about tonight's game?
Got to be careful not to have a letdown against Slovakia after the big win against the United States last night. Darren mentioned about the great forwards Slovakia had. Marian Hossa is one guy Canadians have to control. He's a world-class forward, one of the best in the world. So that guy is paramount for Slovakia and paramount to Canada to stop him.
And Canada can have to do it without Ed Jovanovski, who's now out with an injury. Another Canadian defenseman down. Of course, though, Barry, they do have a pretty good goaltender in Martin Brodeur, a 3-time Stanley Cup winner, 2-time Vezina winner. Martin Brodeur has Canada undefeated so far. Can he keep it alive? We're going to head to Montreal for the answer with Darren Pang and Mike Emrick. That's coming up after this break.
ESPN2's presentation of the Toyota World Cup of Hockey is brought to you by the Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized. And the new Nike Air Max Shootout, only at Foot Locker. Do you think you could fill them?
Bell Center in Montreal. Game 2 begins for Canada. What a game just 24 hours ago. Canada started out impressively in that one. They had the first 18 scoring chances. But Pat Quinn says, Darren, this will be a different team to face tonight and a different style that his team will have to play.
Oh, they knew that the Americans were going to come out flying. They were going to be physical. But it was Team Canada in the opening 20 minutes of play that really dictated play out, shooting Robert Esche and USA 19-6, Doc. And the bottom line, though, in that game was the Americans came back strong in the second period. And that was a big wake-up call here for Team Canada.
Canada in the white jerseys with the red numerals and black pants. Last night, it was a gold uniform that really paid tribute to the very first Canadian Olympic gold medal winning team, the Winnipeg Falcons. But that was just for one night. Now the customary white and red uniforms are back.
And I'm happy about that. I wasn't a big fan of the colors last night.
Remarkably, a lot of people were, because they were wearing them on the street today, so I think they sold a lot. But it is Slovakia wearing the blue. Slovakia, a team that was separated from Czechoslovakia 1993 and had to fight its way into Olympic competition thanks to Peter Stastny as a player. Oh, a great shot in front, and Martin Brodeur made a terrific save there, as getting the shot away from close in was Marian Gaborik. Now back ahead comes Canada. Danny Heatley was taken to the boards. Good, strong play there made by Wisnowski, and so it's sent on back.
I thought Adam Foote was a very underrated soldier in last night's game against the USA. He jumped up in the play offensively, but defensively he was very, very strong on his own blue line. He made a good play there.
Vinny Lecavalier with Ryan Smyth as well as Marty St. Louis in the early goings here, but now there's a line change for Canada as the puck is given up and brought right back out now. Moving ahead with it for Canada and gliding in is Brad Richards. Pass sent across for Simone Gagne is sent on to the back now, and it is Hannon playing it ahead. There was an injury last night on Canada's defense, Ed Jovanovski.
Yeah, bad news. He had an MRI this morning. It looks like it's an MCL of the right knee in a collision with Eric Weinrich behind the net. It looks like he will be lost for this tournament.
A swing and a miss by St. Louis. Puck punched ahead at center and dealt on further by Lubos Bartechko, but eventually peeling back with it is Wade Redden. Redden out of Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, farm country. Pass knocked away from Gagne. His father Gord is here today, but has to leave tomorrow because it's time to get the boot in for Hart. Brought back ahead now by Slovakia. It's Radovojevic. A shot blocked off by Brodeur and played along now for Jerome McGinley. The captain of Calgary gives behind to Redden again, and it's handed back over for a pass at center that ricocheted off Joe Sakic and came back down.
This is something Pat Quinn was talking about, the emotion and expectations of last night's game with their chief rival, the USA, and wondering how they're going to respond here. I like the way the Slovakians have come out.
A shot by Chris Draper, who's in the lineup tonight for Team Canada, and a steal by Thornton, and a shot. He scores! Joe Thornton at 3:02.
What a steal by Thornton. Catching Zdeno Chara off guard. Chara was trying to carry the puck. After this shot was blocked, Chara did a nice job there, but here he takes his time, and what a great play. Good pickpocket by Thornton. Then he sweeps in on the far side and goes, I believe, through the legs of the goaltender. And Stana, in the first real shot on goal, maybe thinking that was going to go to the stick side, opened it up, and Joe Thornton did a great job of disguising that shot and pulling it back right between the legs.
The first even-strength goal for Canada in the tournament. They had 2 goals last night, both on power plays. And that also the first shot of the game for Canada. Rastislav Stana is the goalkeeper for Slovakia tonight. Played 6 games for Washington last year. Here's Thornton turning. Most of the year was spent in Portland, Maine with American Hockey League team called the Pirates. Here's Thornton again, dealing one off a stick that popped loose. Had to be chipped along by Shane Doan, but then it's retrieved by Pavel Dimitra. And Dimitra accelerates right back out to center.
You know, Thornton on that last shift, even after he scored the goal, Mike, he had a chance to shoot the puck again in a prime scoring area. He's such an unselfish player. He tried to dish it off, but he really gave up another good opportunity. I think if you score on this goalie early like this, you might as well go right at him, because he's really lacking in experience and this level of competition.
Rushing ahead is Ladislav Nagy, drops for Dimitra, and a shot deflected away. Rebound tucked out in front, well watched by the Canadian defense and started ahead. Ryan Smyth brings it up the wing. Dropped it on back for control there for a shot by Eric Brewer, his teammate in Edmonton. Now Smyth again, put it off the back of the cage, and twisting with it is Vinny Lecavalier. Then Smyth, a centering pass. Dimitra cleared it away, kept alive by Adam Foote of the Colorado Avalanche. Now Smyth centers one off the goal and turned in on goal. Didn't appear to go on Stana, but is kept alive by the Canadians anyway. This is Smyth looking for Lecavalier. Out front, and he scores!
Wonderful work down low. And you knew going into this game that Zdeno Chara and Lubomir Vishnevsky were the two guys that had experience at the NHL level. And the key for Canada was keeping the puck down low, cycling it down low. Ryan Smyth doesn't have very much of a curve on his stick, so he's able to go to the backhand. I thought he had an excellent game behind the boards and along the wall last night against the USA. Cavalier also created a little bit of a havoc there to allow Ryan Smyth to jump in on his backhand. Pavel Demitra was taking his man, and the defenseman was caught off guard.
Here they come again. San Luis trickled one in on goal that is held by Stana with 4:50 gone in the first period and 2-0 Canada. 101 seconds apart, the goals by Thornton and Smyth.
And Zdeno Chara now, Doc, is going to take a minor penalty for roughing. It looked like he was trying to spark his club, get something going behind the net with Simon Gagne. Let's go back to the goal here that was scored by Ryan Smyth. Now the Slovaks are really in trouble unless it's going to be evened up. See the way he got good inside position right there. It was Suchi, number 6, who's now with the Columbus Blue Jackets, that didn't get on the inside of Ryan Smyth. And here's the deal about Stana, the goaltender. He either gets on a roll early and can win a game on his own, but he's been mired by a lack of consistency. And so far now, 2 chances, 2 goals against, both of them between his legs. So obviously, your team Canada right now, you're saying put the puck on net in every situation that you can.
His first win was last November in Detroit against the Red Wings, 4-1 for Washington. So that consistency he had that night, and you were there.
He got on a roll early in that game. He made some saves early. And I spoke to his former head coach, Bruce Cassidy, who's now an assistant coach with the Chicago Blackhawks, and he talked an awful lot about that. This is a great kid that works hard, but he's been unable to have a consistent manner at the top level.
Iginla and Lemieux and Joe Sakic, LeCavalier to Iginla, and then Lemieux. Sakic at one point. And the gun is loaded for a bullet that came from Wade Redden at the other point.
What a pass by Lemieux, though. He's looking one way, and he knew that Wade Redden, a left-hand shot, was in prime position for a one-timer, and he put it right on the tape.
For fans of the Buffalo Sabres and Ottawa Senators will tell you that Miroslav Shatan is wearing 18, not 81. Marian Hossa is wearing 81, not 18. I think they did it for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sakic gives it across and then on back again. Joe Sakic, who had that wrist shot goal last night, hands on to Lemieux at his office. Sakic drive, deflected, it went just wide as it glanced off Absud on defense and is twisted back down the ice with 50 to go on the kill.
Mario Lemieux is so dangerous on that left half boards. Being a right-hand shot, he's got his back towards the boards. He can play it down low. He can look to the center of the ice, or he can play it back to the point. It's too tough to defend against that.
Fed in front, oh, and Heatley pitched one to the glass. Fed on by Thornton. Heatley right at the front. They try to get it to him, can't do it. As making that attempt was Brad Richards, and it skipped on out. Lightning fans will notice that San Luis is wearing the customary 26, but Richards is wearing 39. And there's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a moment, as here's San Luis with 8 to go on the power play. Adam put a shot, deflected San Luis. Oh, and he threw it just wide of the far post, and it's back to center. And out of the box is Chara. They killed it off. Adam Foote moves back deeper. They did not have a shot on goal in that power play. 4 shots were blocked.
Yeah, and they had a good opportunity when Danny Heatley, who has the puck now, Doc, he put it right over the net on a quick little snapshot.
There are 4 players on Canada who normally wear 19, but are not doing it for a very good reason.
That's something else. Bill Clement, Jeremy Roenick, and Gary Thorne last night talked about a little bit in case you missed the game. Out of respect for Steve Yzerman, who was invited to be on Team Canada, but had to decline, painfully so, after not wanting to let Wayne Gretzky down, certainly in Team Canada. But they have declined to wear their normal number 19 because of Steve Yzerman. That's something else.
7.5 minutes gone here in the first period. Doan, a shot that was shoveled wide. This has been all Canada so far, but it may change now. Here comes Hossa, has Demitra. Hossa backhander turned away by Brodeur. Demitra threw one that popped wide. And the first concerted offensive, a couple of attempts by Slovakia. 1 on goal and 1 off the mark. Shane Doan battling. Pat Quinn said we've got to be a lot more physical than we were against Team USA. Pretty physical against Team USA last night, but he wants more. Canadian fans would like to have more. A couple of guys named Thornton and Smyth have connected on the goals for Team Canada. Let's hear from the third man on our team, Joe Micheletti, downstairs. Joe.
Doc, thanks very much. Wayne Gretzky told me this morning he was concerned about the emotional level of his team because of last night's game against the U.S. team. That's why he put Chris Draper in the lineup. One of the reasons anyway, energy, a lot of speed. And they also, Slovakia talked about the fact that Canada might have that letdown. They wanted to have a quick start in this game, get out to a quick lead and play physical. Hasn't happened. Guys?
5'11", 190. But boy, does he ever play bigger than that. Nice finesse move by Lecavalier, but eventually it broke down. And Canada must play in neutral ice. Lecavalier had 6 shots on goal in last night's contest. Flings one well wide this time. Ryan Smyth with that. Work to the outside now by Heatley. Brought back ahead. Racing up the wing is Marian Gaborik. Big drive, and Brodeur with a pad stop. It is kept alive, though, by Joseph Stumple. Hands back on, and a finesse move did not work. That was coming from Miroslav Stana.
It's only September 1st, Miroslav. You can't be toe dragging like that this early in the year. He's got wonderful hands, Stana does, and so does Gaborik with that shot down the wing.
Smyth, the pass in front. It went off at Ginla and wide. And it's cleared back down. Stana was a part of that very first Slovakian Olympic team in 1994 that Peter Stastny, now the general manager of Team Slovakia, put together and played on. And he led the entire Olympics in goals with 9. We're going to get a penalty call.
Looks like a cross-checking call. And it's going to be on Wisnowski. The fans here seem like they were reacting to a minor penalty on Team Canada. Well, that's not going to be the case. And, of course, the power play really jump-started Canada against the USA last night in that first period.
Cross-check is called on Wisnowski at 9:11, so the second power play opportunity for Canada. 2 for 5 last night, 0 for the first one tonight. And Joe Sakic brings it ahead. He has Redden on the other side. They go with Lemieux and again and Lecavalier up front. Cibak gives on to Chara, sailed it up into the seats.
Well, Joe Thornton, as you remember, during training camp, he was the guy that people were talking, he might not be the guy that plays a regular shift. He was starting very, very slow following that rib injury that he sustained against Montreal in the playoffs, or just prior to the playoffs. But early in this game, great job of hounding the puck and putting backside pressure, not quitting on the play. And the long stick of Zdeno Chara was an enemy of Chara there. It was an easy pickpocket for Thornton to snag it from the big fella and then go in and score the first goal of the game.
6'9", 260 pounds. So with skates on now, how tall is he?
Oh, 9 feet, 300 pounds. It's amazing, and he's a strong man. He's got big arms, he's physical, he can play nasty. He's a tremendous defenseman.
The outside it comes to Sakic. Joe Sakic back across. Lemieux faked the slap shot, worked into Lecavalier, drive, and it went off the stick of Stana and hopped off the glass. Kept alive by Sakic again for Team Canada. That pass went off Radivojevic of Slovakia. Chara in there too. Radivojevic jostled by Wade Redden. Off the wall, it's Lemieux again. 55 to go on the power play. Gets it back from Sakic. Wheels it on across. Lecavalier has to settle things down. At the front of the net, Ginla. Tossed there, but blocked and cleared back down the ice by Cibak. So Mario Lemieux gets his first shot on goal of this tournament. Did not have one last night, but as Darren mentioned, he did have some penalty time in an interesting way, and in a way which I think the younger players on Team Canada took notice of.
Well, and Mario said today that he's quite simply was the closest guy to Konowalchuk, and he watched Konowalchuk, who today said that actually Martin Brodeur was pulling him inside a little bit, so finally Konowalchuk gave him a little bit of shot. All the people in Canada here only saw Konowalchuk delivering and initiating.
Here comes Opsut following up. Then on the wing is Orsog. Vladimir Orsog of the Nashville Predators tangles with Scott Niedermayer of Team Canada and New Jersey. And Niedermayer, the Norris Trophy winner for Best Defenseman, emerged with a pass out to center. Poked on back in. Canada had to score late in the third to tie Slovakia in an exhibition game last week, 2-2. And Stana really earned this job by the basis of making 27 saves in that game.
You're exactly right about that. Canada was the better team, and he made the better save. So often coaching staff, they look at that and they say, well, if the magic was there once, it could be there again.
Here's Gagne with a pass that ricocheted in front and is grabbed off and held by Stana. There will not be any late game heroics necessary, at least at this point. Canada's been strong.
Vincent Lecavalier grew up idolizing Mario Lemieux, and in training camp there were many times in which Lecavalier gave up a shot. He was so intimidated by the presence and wanting to make sure that Mario got the puck. Mario finally had to settle him down and say, just play your game. And that's what happens a lot with younger players. And now they're finding some chemistry. That was a terrific last sequence that they had in the offensive zone.
Quick transition by Canada, but Big Zdeno Chara is patrolling, though Shane Doan came by. It'll be Chara again, and a bit of a log jam. Under 8 minutes to go, first period. 2 quick Canada goals, and they look for a third here. Adam Foote with a wrister that is hacked away to the corner by Richard Lintner. And flipped ahead, a little deflection on back out to center.
By the end of this game, Chara's going to be 5'9", 120 pounds with how much he's going to play and how much work he's going to have to just to cover up for even his partner, Lintner, who's a solid defenseman, but he's not strong enough to handle the forwards here in Team Canada.
Is Canada intentionally trying to put it in Chara's corner?
Yeah, absolutely. Get it behind him, make him turn around, make him face the glass, and make him go back and retrieve, and then you can take out the body. Absolutely.
Well, Martin Cibak tried to play it further, could not. Danny Heatley to the outside shove down, and it's taken right away and outletted by Stumble. And here's a chance for Gabrick, breaking right in. Save Brodeur! Rebound! Save Brodeur as he stops Shatan! He's pretty good, isn't he?
That is some good stuff right there. Everyone asked Pat Quinn this morning whether or not he'd make a change, and with the 4 days off that they have, Martin Brodeur wanted to get back in the net. He has robbed Marian Gaborik 3 times in this game, including that one with the left pad. Did the rebounds right on the tape, and Miroslav Shatan has a very good chance. Shatan's trying to put it to the far side, and Brodeur just dragged a leg. That one with the left side, the next one with the right. Terrific stuff by Brodeur. Don't underestimate how good he's been in this game early on.
Iginla jostled to the wall. It's given up right near Lemieux. Does the hometown guy usually play well here? Yeah, he does. 16 games he's played at Bell Center. He has shut out the opposition 3 times, has won 9, and a 1.52 average.
Unbelievable. Obviously great motivation coming here, back here to Montreal. But Marian Gaborik of the Minnesota Wild, obviously one of the great young players with 208 points in his first 295 NHL games. But this was at the very beginning when Gaborik had a chance and the puck just rolled over his stick. Every time Marian's been on the ice, he has been explosive, and he's the only guy right now that's causing havoc for Team Canada.
Nice finesse move by Joe Sakic to get ahead. Fires it back in and waiting for it. Lobbing it back along again is Lemieux. Oh. And the stick is robbed from Sakic. The boards with some robbery. Lemieux jostled. Feeds it on back now. Drive! Oh, and Stana got a piece of that shot that came rocketing toward the net from Hannon. Lemieux grabs and hands back off. Somik up with it there. Somik taking the boards by Lemieux. Puck hacked to the corner. Along on the outside it comes to the circle, and it's in Team Canada's possession once again. Sakic moves ahead with it and lobs it back in, and it is called back for offside. 5:51 to go, first period. They came to see Lemieux play. He's played a lot. 21,273. Applaud him now. Toyota's World Cup of Hockey, along with Darren Pang here, Joe Micheletti downstairs, Mike Emrick from Bell Center in Montreal. 2 quick goals by Canada. Thornton at 3:02, elapsed time in the first, and Ryan Smyth at 4:43. Brought ahead by Slovakia. Trying to get ahead was Orsog. Looked like he caught a stick up high. Here's Chara with it. Wrist shot, and that one is cut off by Radovojevic before it could bother Brodeur. Then Chara, a scorching shot that got the glass. Brodeur jostled into a little bit. Adam Foote taking a man to task for that. Whacked up the boards, but not out by Gagne. Radovojevic trickles it near Brodeur, and Adam Foote took over there. Lobbed it along, and it is lost to center by Richards, but coming by as San Luis hands it to his Tampa Bay teammate. Gets it back again, and a drive is turned aside by Stana. Clock has winked down to the last 5 minutes of this first period. Gagne couldn't get a shot away. Tap back ahead, and Branko Radovojevic brings it on and lobs it in for a shift change.
Yeah, that's a good decision by Radovojevic because they were at the end of their shift, but a terrible dump in to allow Team Canada to regain control and break out easily.
Draper dropped it in. Along it comes now to Thornton. Out in front to Draper. He fanned on it, but it's held and just dropped back in again by St. Louis. And it goes now for Thornton. Turned back to Shane Doan with it. Doan looks for Draper. Off the boards it comes to him, and it's swatted around behind again. More possession. Doan fanned on a shot. Twisting with it and lobbing it back out is Marian Hossa. Hossa tried to get further, could not. Bouncing around a lot now as Hossa walks it back in. Here is Hossa flipping a backhander that Brodeur was able to paddle away, and it's dealt back out to center.
I'm not sure if he was trying to tap that off of Martin Brodeur on the short side or just played in front, maybe get a lucky bank off the defenseman.
Set up for Nagy, given on for a forehander by Dimitra that rocketed back to him. It's swatted back in front and chased down by Nagy. Nagy had it punched along further, and a nice pass back ahead to Ryan Smyth. Off LeCavalier's stick, though. Forced right back by Obsut, and Brodeur will come out to do what he loves to do, and that's handle the puck. If he's playing in the American League this year, which he'll not be the first 7 weeks, there'll be restrictions on that.
Yes.
Part of an experiment.
Yeah, you're taking away a great strength of very few guys in the NHL, and I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that.
Here's Heatley tying up back behind the net. LeCavalier comes along with that. Nearly half of the players in this entire tournament are American Hockey League graduates.
That's amazing.
Just a development league that has been the chief developer for NHL talent all the way back into the 40s. When Springfield and Hershey had teams like they do now.
Yeah, it's too bad that players miss that development stage by jumping right to the NHL, and they don't kind of get it. It's imperative to spend time in the minor leagues.
It's the news that you don't want to hear, and then usually as you look back on it, you say, well, that was a good time. I learned an awful lot.
Boy, did I hear it a lot.
Stana was talking about his time in Portland today, very valuable. He credits his father, who was a former goalie in soccer, for helping him develop his talent. Who's the most valuable guy to him? Well, I think my father was in the early years, but in Slovakia, you just skate from ages 6 to 9. You don't pick up a stick. You don't play games until age 9. That's when he became a goalie. Flung away to the outside. Here's Chara back for a hurried shot into the glove of Brodeur, who hangs on with 2:19 in the first. 2-0 Canada. Joe Micheletti and Peter Stastny.
Mike, thanks very much. Peter, your thoughts on the first period?
Well, I'm pretty happy with the way we play. It just the score is a little different than I thought. You know, we slowed down Canadians. We play a lot better than USA played yesterday. We needed to give them little room, little time, and you know, to put the pressure on us, and we did that. We got some good scoring chances. But you know, in our first game, exhibition game, we scored 2 quick goals. We were up 2-0. Now it's reversed. They scored 2 quick goals on the first 2 shots.
Peter, it was a few years ago when this Slovakian team was really struggling, and you being a Hall of Famer and being from there, you took over. What did you do to turn this program around?
Well, we're growing good hockey players, and they need some direction. I knew what our strengths are, I knew what our weaknesses are, and you just take care of the weaknesses, and I knew the strengths will, you know, put you right among the best, and that's what happened.
Congratulations to you. Good luck the rest of the way, and thanks for this.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Mike, Darren.
Okay.
One of the greats, isn't he?
He is, and he did not complain about injuries, but could he ever? He could have Peter Bondra, broke a thumb last week. Ivan Majewski, gone. Michael Hanzus, gone. Ziggy Palffy, shoulder surgery this summer, just wasn't able to play. I mean, that could really help Slovakia's fortunes.
Yeah, Michael Hanzus is a very unique and underrated guy, because he would have been the third-line center that really balanced out their top 9 forwards. And so without him there, Martin Cibak has to take on a bigger role as well. And there's going to be an icing call there.
Coming up in the intermission, Toyota World Cup of Hockey intermission report. Talk about the labor situation. Bill Daly, NHL Executive Vice President, Chief Legal Officer, today released a statement. We'd hoped to be able to talk to him, but the talks went late today, and apparently they're going to continue tomorrow. He said, we resumed negotiations with the union today to achieve a new CBA and agreed to continue our talks in Montreal tomorrow. Accordingly, as was the case yesterday, out of respect for the process, I'll refrain from commenting on the substance of the meeting until the conclusion of tomorrow's session. Well,
Let's
it
make
has to
some
be
headway.
optimistic.
Let's make some headway. Let's give fans an optimistic viewpoint, because being in Montreal here, we're not getting great vibes, but it's great that they're obviously meeting and talking. But
7 hours yesterday, long session today, another one planned for tomorrow. It's not the worst, but Bill said a year ago that he expected, and he said it's not to be critical of the player's approach because it's good in any negotiation. If you feel that you stand to do better to wait to the last minute, then you wait. But this is the last minute that we're coming on for the start of the season. Training camps are up for grabs here shortly, and they'll have to be talking about whether they postpone those or just have their American League players and their Tier 2 players wind up attending them. Puck trickled through to centers. We're down to the last 52 of the first period. Do you think it's leveled off a little bit from the early Canadian dominance?
Oh, absolutely. Canada, I mean, they were fortunate to score on both those goals.
Oh, Gabrick with another shot, and Brodeur stopped that one.
Gabrick's had the best scoring chances in this game so far. I don't necessarily think that the goals that were scored on Stana were as of the same quality that Martin Brodeur has faced.
Indeed. And I think Stastny had it right on the money. He said, we're playing pretty well. Here's Chara's shot. Oh, and that one wouldn't go.
Oh, man, can Chara shoot the puck. He's got a great, heavy one-time shot.
Loose stick was out there, and Steve Walkham, the referee, is retrieving part of it just to keep it out of the way. Don Van Massenhoven is the other referee. Jean Morin and Pierre Rassico are the linesmen tonight here in French Canada. Chatain dumped it in. The siren goes, and the first period has come to a close. Joe Thornton and Ryan Smyth have scored for Canada. Big crowd satisfied with this thus far. We did see some Slovakian fans, though, so it's not 100%. Let's say it's about 99, speaking of which. Canada 2, Slovakia nothing at the end of the first period.
Interesting developments there. Interesting developments in Montreal as well. The past 2 days, the NHL and the NHLPA have been meeting extensively, long meetings. Here's Mike Emrick.
Well, you know, this is a deadline of September the 15th. And we try to take something, even though we're giving nothing of substance out of any of these meetings. They met yesterday for the 4th time in 8 days. So today it makes 5 and 9. They were not planning to meet tomorrow, but now they are. So that's 6 meetings in the last 10 days. I know we're near the 11th hour, but at least, even though we don't have any substance, anything further to report, there's great optimism, I think, that they are really working to try and get something done. Training camps are up for grabs, the start of the season up for grabs too. They're at the fork in the road and trying to get this done. This is the 11th hour, so we'll see. A statement was issued just before game time by Bill Daly, NHL Executive Vice President, Chief Legal Officer. We resumed negotiations with the union today in an effort to achieve a new collective bargaining agreement and agreed to continue our talks here in Montreal tomorrow. Accordingly, as was the case yesterday, out of respect to the process, I will refrain from commenting on the substance of the meeting until the conclusion of tomorrow's session. They have been very good at keeping from us anything about this. They don't want to jeopardize the process because maybe there might be a leak that would really wind up causing more trouble than the progress that they're hoping to achieve. So we're trusting that this will go on tomorrow. And I know hockey fans all around, some of them have gone from being mad to being ambivalent, but they might be happy when this all gets done. We'll just see. We can pin nothing on it from today. But David, that's the latest that we have at game time here in Montreal.
All right, Mike, we appreciate that. The good news is they're meeting, they're at a table, they're talking. The bad news is we're not sure if there's any progress being made.
Well, one of the biggest problems in this whole situation is the players and the Player Association do not believe the owners' figures. That has been the problem since day one. They believe the owners are hiding revenue. They believe that a lot of the owners are making money. The owners say that only a few teams in the NHL are making money. So that is really the crux of the problem, is figures. Hopefully that'll be all straightened out. They're meeting, which is great. They're meeting for long periods, which is great. And hopefully they'll continue to meet for long periods and we'll get this thing done by September 15th. But until they get over that major problem of the players not believing the owners, it's going to be tough to get an agreement.
Time, Barry, has become an issue. 2 weeks today, the collective bargaining agreement, it's gone. It expires. Is there enough time?
But I always go back to baseball because nothing was gloomer and blacker than baseball when they said that nothing will get done. We're going to miss the whole season a couple years ago. And bang, the last minute, I remember that the buses were packed to take the players away. They weren't going to play. Last minute, they got a deal done. So until there's an announcement that the season is not starting, I'm still optimistic that these two sides, they're smart men on both sides. They'll sit down and say the game cannot afford it right now. After the Canada Cup, things are going to be so positive. We're going to have great hockey for 2 weeks. Let's get this deal done. Let's negotiate in good faith, the two sides. Let's meet in the middle so the owners can make money, the player salaries continue to go up, and the great game of hockey will continue to play.
Barry, if this is the last hockey we're seeing in a little while, thank goodness it is fantastic hockey. Canada right now a 2-0 lead on Slovakia. Big Joe Thornton and Ryan Smyth doing a number for Canada. Martin Brodeur shutting the door. More from the World Cup of Hockey next. Welcome back to the Toyota Intermission Report. Barry, Melrose, David Amber. We did have a game earlier today from Stockholm, Sweden, Czech Republic. Czech Republic, 8 straight losses at the Canada Cup / World Cup, looking to break off that streak this afternoon. And early on, it didn't look good. Emrick right there, the big goal. Sweden on top, 4-0.
Well, then the Czechs decided to play in the third period. That's the one positive thing if you're a Czech fan. They dominated the third period, outshot the Swedes badly, had the puck most of the period, had great scoring chances. The good players, Jager, I thought, had a good game. Elias scored a goal. Tellqvist looks like he might be the goaltender of the Swedish team right now. He played good in the third period late in the game.
Czech Republic, 3 goals in the third, but not enough. Sweden hangs on. They win 4-3, 4 different goal scores for them. Sweden right now a perfect 2-0, Barry. Are they the team to beat?
Yeah, the Swedes are the team to beat in this division. I do not like this format because these games mean nothing. I think they should mean something. The Czech are playing poorly, but they could easily come out of this division now. Play good in the third period. They're going to have to play Germany one more time. They'll win that game. So, again, it's first seeding. These games really mean nothing.
9 straight losses for the Czech Republic in the World Cup. My goodness. Slovakia, they also had troubles back in '96. They were 0-3, and right now they're down 2-0 to Canada.
Second period about to start. No carryover penalties nor power plays. Well, Slovakia, Darren, with 15 minutes to talk it over, has to realize they played a pretty good first period, and they had some tremendous chances on Martin Brodeur.
Absolutely.
Just couldn't score. That has happened before.
Yeah, the one guy in particular, I mean, Marian Gaborik came in that first period to play, and he was sprung loose with some great passes.
Ahead now with it is Shane Doan with a shot that is deflected into Stana.
ESPN2's presentation of the Toyota World Cup of Hockey is brought to you by the Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized. And the U.S. Department of Transportation. You drink, you drive, you lose.
Back underway here at Bell Center in Montreal. Lemieux centers, but it is cut off and started to head to center. Brought ahead by Gaborik. This shot did not go on Brodeur, but kicked across. Reached there by the defense. They can't play it too far, though. Stumple there. Back to Joseph Stumple again. Could not reach Gaborik with the pass. Brushed across, and here comes Iginla. Moving on in. He's got Adam Foote breaking. Oh, and a save made by Stana. And it stays at 2-0. A terrific 2-on-1 break pass to Adam Foote.
And what a play by Lemieux, holding up the defenseman at the blue line at the Slovakian bench. He made the play happen with one hand.
Brodeur foisted it away from Gaborik, or it would have been another chance for him in this game. Wisnowski at neutral ice turned it back in. Eric Brewer handling for Canada. Edmonton Oilers defenseman gives it back ahead now for St. Louis. St. Louis a forehander, blocked aside by Stana and taken by Somik. A little more confidence shown in the latter part of the first and early here in the second by Slovakia.
You betcha. Well, you remember that Cibak was a fourth-line forward for Tampa Bay in the finals and became a prominent role player for them, going up against his teammate in the MVP, Martin St. Louis. St. Louis getting more and more comfortable as this goes along. He's going to be a player as this goes on. He was great last night, having 2 points, a goal, and a helper.
11 members of this 26-man Slovakian roster were on the gold medal winning World Championship team just 2 years ago.
Yeah, great experience, small country coming together. There's Mario. He trips, actually. His left leg got caught and might have hit a rut. Then he has a little hold up here, but it's discreet enough that it goes by the wayside of the officials. And again, it looks like he's going to shoot it, but he feathers a beautiful pass to Adam Foote, the right-handed defenseman who jumped into the play, as he did last night. But it all starts with Mario's strength and his agility on the far blue line.
He has had some memorable games in his hometown.
Oh, has he ever?
In 7 games at Bell Center, he has 15 points. The year before his retirement, that he came back from, the first retirement, I guess we have to say it is. The second one hasn't happened yet. He came in here twice. He had 4 goals in the first game, 5 points in the second. A jam up at the net, and on top of it is Stana. Let's check in with Joe Micheletti.
Okay, Mike, you and Darren were talking about some of the key injuries for Slovakia, guys that are missing out of this lineup, and some of those injuries have been of the real strange variety. But one player they're really missing as well is Richard Zednik. It wasn't an injury. He went out to dinner last night with his wife, came down with a very serious case of food poisoning, so serious that he remains in the hospital tonight. They're not sure when he's going to be able to play again. Mike?
Wow. Wow, you remember, though, that his wife's here. Obviously, he's a Montreal Canadian player, just signed a new contract with the Canadians, and he has really developed into a fine forward.
Good shot by Dimitra. Got the glass beyond the reach of Brodeur. Another shot is deflected away. Martin Cibak is out there for Slovakia. Let that one go. Toyota's World Cup of Hockey. We hope you're enjoying it. Big chance. Draper, and a shot high off Stana. Head back on now for Shane Doan again. Tried to step away and did, and a shot, and that one is blocked aside by the defense. Here's foot holding. Same one in front. Oh, and Doan didn't get all of it. He just got a little, and all of it is in the glove of Stana.
Stana has settled down, and after a shaky start, he's making some good saves here. Their goaltender's very inexperienced. Only 12 NHL games played, and that's Lashak and Stana. This save here was a fan-on shot by the Phoenix Coyotes' Shane Doan. Meanwhile, Adam Foote with a fake shot to go across. It's a hard pass, really. I mean, it's so hard. It's very difficult to control for Shane Doan.
Shots are 6-0 Canada in this period. Chances are 5-0. Reaching in now is Shatan. Nice outlet pass. Feathered ahead for Upsuit. Brought ahead for a drive by Upsuit that is wide.
Oh, Upsuit had a 3-on-2 break. You don't get many odd man breaks like that.
Iginla hands it across. Brought back in by Iginla from Lemieux, and the shot sailed wide. Came back to the boards for a little pitch back deep. At the front now is Joe Sakic. Tip to the outside. Lemieux started in, but Sakic moved in, and Upsuit tangled with him. Close quarters it goes from Lemieux to Sakic again. Another one of the normal night teams that has passed it up in honor of Steve Yzerman for this tournament, wearing number 91, Joe Sakic. The outlet pass comes on to Upsuit, who let that rocket go a moment ago. Tip back around, and Brodeur will set it up. Long pass ahead to Jerome Iginla. And back in as the teams are making a change. Iginla comes off the ice. Out now are Brad Richards at one of the forward positions and St. Louis at another, and he makes a nice steal, moves in, pass across, score! Gagne! And it's 3-0 Canada.
Somek had the puck. He plays for the Philadelphia Flyers. He had a stutter step, and then the puck stuck on him, it looked like, and it slowed down. Martin St. Louis followed it up, and then he makes a pass that deflects off the shaft of the stick of the defenseman, Chara, and then ends up right on the tape right there on the backhand of Simon Gagne, who easily redirects that beyond the glove side of the goaltender, Stana.
One mistake in neutral ice. 2 quick passes, and it's in the net. Here is St. Louis again with 3 points in the tournament, figuring on 3 of the 5 Team Canada goals. Puck comes back over to Orsog, who starts it out for Slovakia, and then it kicked back in. Scott Niedermayer on defense for Canada. Nudges it ahead, and Richards charges on. Moving it across now for Gagne. Gagne fed it back. Got it back once again. Looks to the front where St. Louis is waiting, but it was canceled away from him by Cibak and back to center.
Great chemistry between Brad Richards, the 5th youngest Conn Smyth Trophy winner that was a non-goaltender. He won it playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning this year. He and Marty St. Louis, they're dynamic.
Here's Richards. Down to the ice he went. Play continues. Some booing by the Canada fans, who have had only cheering to do tonight.
Well, Slovakian has yet to have a power play in this game.
It is played ahead now to Dimitra. Dimitra with a shot, and Brodeur turned it away, and the rebound was sent wide. Cibak loses, though, to Ryan Smyth. Tangles with Dimitra. Escaping now is Nagy. Could not get it to Hossa, and then eventually did. 2 aside on the wall. 5.5 gone here in the second period. Canada leading 3-0. St. Louis and Richards, the assists on Gagne's goal at 4:07.
Well, penalty coming up. It's going to be on Brodeur. He used his stick to dump Nagy of the Phoenix Coyotes and Team Slovakia. And the referee was right there, Doc. I mean, right there. Brodeur was sour at Nagy's persistence, and he used his stick and just jabbed it right behind his leg and dumped him. So this will be the first power play. It's going to happen right here. Whoop. Just enough to knock him off balance and shift his momentum.
Thursday, ESPN2's coverage of the World Cup of Hockey continues as Brett Hull in the United States meet Alex Kovalev, Darius Kasparaitis, Alexei Yashin, and the Russian team. The World Cup of Hockey on ESPN2 Thursday at 7 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Do you know that Keith Tkachuk and Darius Kasparaitis had a fight in an exhibition game this fall? Getting ready for this? It was one of 2 fights in the game. Looked like Keith won it a lot more last night, too, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you mentioned Brett. I'm sure that Brett was disappointed in the way that he played and the way that the Team USA played at the beginning of that hockey game, but give them credit. Boy, did they get back on track, and did they play a real solid final 40 minutes.
A stoppage of play and a penalty coming up, and another penalty on Canada. Gaborik was down, got up slowly to his feet. And no, the Slovakian penalty box door opens and Gaborik goes in.
That's an interesting call there. Gaborik, it looked like, was straddling the line. And that happens a lot when you're trying to hold on to the blue line. You know, there's no way that that is a trip on Marian Gaborik. And if you, I understand that the Canadian player fell over his leg, but when you're straddling the line like that, you have to keep that skate on the opposite side of the blue line. And basically, the Team Canada player was trying to get back in their own zone. That leg was already there. I think that's not a very good call on Marian Gaborik.
So 4 aside now for a minute and a quarter. Adam Foote, primary assist on the second goal for Canada tonight. It's brought ahead and pitched in by Chris Draper, but it goes out of play. Well, it's been an intriguing game so far. 3-0, Canada in the lead. Simone Gagne, beautiful touch from San Luis. Simone has got the 3rd one for Canada. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman looking on here. Another busy day. They had not planned to go again tomorrow, but they're going to go again tomorrow.
You had mentioned that'll be 6 meetings in the last 10 days. So hopefully something fruitful and optimistic is coming out of this. It's a very black and white issue, though, isn't it? It's something that we haven't had in the NHL. It would create a new landscape that the players want to protect. We've never had a hard cap in the National Hockey League. So it's not like it's a gray issue here, unless they can make it gray.
Has to be the implant of all of the noise that has come from this tournament, and the NHL and the Players Association have put this tournament together, and it's gone really well so far. And if you do one thing well together, can you do the other one together? Well, they're going to try.
Well, let's hope that this stimulates that conversation and that the fans really enjoy this hockey and miss the game of hockey. This is that last chance one right off the noggin of Stana, right off the lid. Richards had that shot. The puck was bouncing a little bit right there. It was just inside, and he had to rearrange his hands a little bit, so it looked like it fluttered off the toe of his blade.
Was that with intent, as Roman Cechmanek often does? Did he just gong that away himself?
What? No, I don't think so. I think the way he was positioned, he was already set. Roman Cechmanek, yeah, he just uses his head like a soccer player, but that one there I think was uncontrollable.
Chances in the game in the first period, Canada 10, already in the second, and we're not even halfway through it, 9. 8 seconds from now, power play will be coming up. On the long now for Joseph Stumple. Out of the box is Brodeur. Team Canada on the man advantage. It is a short one, only 27 seconds. Taken by Brad Richards. Got it on to Iginla. For all the scoring talent, and all of the speed. It's a very young Canada team, the youngest one of the 8 in the tournament. Pitch back along again, and it's chipped further, but kept by Iginla. Iginla flipped it across, and it careens back to center. Wade Redden hunts it down. To the last 5 of the man advantage. Just given right up to Slovakia and clear.
Yeah, I think he was looking for Mario Lemieux to come across the blue line a little bit and try to hurry up that pass.
9 chances, 9 shots, only 1 for Slovakia. Backhander is turned aside by Wisnowski, who was skating by his cage. On to center and floated back, and Jerome Iginla is there, but he's surrounded by blue, red, and white. Now it's brought on by Sakic. Fed one in front, and Iginla got the heel of his stick on it, and that's all. Brewer has shot, and that one went wide. Played along by Lemieux. Feathered further toward Iginla.
Oh, good play.
Wisnowski got in the way of him and just took it over and flung it back out.
What a strong play by Wisnowski, too. It's not easy to get Jerome Iginla off balance. Separate him from the puck like that.
Wisnowski, 4 years with the Los Angeles Kings. If we get a settlement shortly, they'll look forward to a 5th one. Here is a pass out now by Chara. Brought back ahead for a pass across that's tipped away from Somek. Chip back ahead, and Danny Heatley moves in. He's got a man breaking Smyth. Heatley crosses and shoots. Oh, it saves Stana, and a rebound trickled wide. Boy, Stana's getting better as this game goes on. Fed onto the back. Here's Adam Foote with it. Shooting, and that one kicked aside. Right back to Foote again. Saves Stana. Rebound scramble, and emerging with it behind is Cibak. Boy, another strong defensive play. We had talked about earlier Canada unleashing shots, and 4 of them on the power play were taken. They were all blocked, did not even get to Stana.
Well, we know Adam Foote is known as a defensive warrior, but he's been good offensively in this game.
Here's Orsog feeding one back that is eaten up by Brodeur. Only the 2nd shot on goal of the period for Slovakia, and nearly half the period is over.
Well, the score would be different if not for Martin Brodeur on Marian Gaborik. And so if you've missed part of this game, it's not like the Slovakian team hasn't had their chances. Marian Gaborik early was in front of the net and just fanned on it. Then he had a good hard shot, then sprung loose with a brilliant pass up the middle, and a wonderful save by Martin Brodeur when the score was 2-1. Then again, Brodeur was equal to the task. When you're a goalie of Brodeur's caliber, you know which players are on the ice. You know what color the tape of their stick is. I mean, you know when Marian Gaborik has that puck. There's going to be a minor penalty in front of the net. Good pressure by the Slovakian team.
Offensive zone penalty on Slovakia, and so Canada will go to the power play again midway here in the 2nd period.
Never good penalty in the offensive zone like that when you've got pressure like the Slovakians did.
I think the other thing about, well, we'll get to that in a second here, about Marty Brodeur we wanted to mention, other than the quick paddle that he had there.
Yeah, it was a good save, and the rebound was off to the side, and Scotty Hannon, who replaced Ed Jovanovski, was there for the puck. And so Vladimir Orzog of the Nashville Predators put his stick around the hip, just enough to pull him down.
Marty Brodeur walked in the door this morning, even though he didn't go on the ice with Team Canada. They played last night, so he was resting, and he had the customary big smile on his face. Just a miserable person.
Isn't that something? His demeanor is something that we're seeing a lot in the National Hockey League. Goaltenders have changed. They're not as quirky as they once were, that's for sure.
Go ahead. Is that it? Okay, I thought you were going to elaborate.
I thought you'd add something there.
Well, here is San Luis setting up shop on the power play. They work it to the outside. Canada wanting to go 4-0, but the shot was dubbed by Sakic, and so he'll go back.
But I mean, you think of how intense goaltenders have been. You can't talk to them. You can't touch their equipment. You know, you can't go near them. Tony Esposito was a great example of that. And then you've got Marty Brodeur. He'll talk to you between periods. He'll engage in any kind of conversation. In fact, he initiates most of it.
Oh, good hit there. Meanwhile, the shot by Cibak is deflected away, and it's punched along by Redden. Remember one story of a goaltender that for 2 weeks lived on mail-outs. Just couldn't keep any other kind of food going. Most mail-outs. I don't know how he survived. Lived from one game to the next, and it was either water or mail-outs. Yeah, isn't it? I'm sure they appreciate the plug.
Yeah.
Here is Lemieux, close quarters to Iginla, and fired back around. And this was 4 games and 5 nights they were playing at that time. Oh. Up with this now is Lemieux. 23 seconds to go power play. Sets up shot by giving back to Niedermeyer. Brad Richards. Iginla standing in front of the goaltender. No one near him right now to the outside. Oh, the pass didn't get through. Good job there by Cibak. Meanwhile, kept by Lemieux. 8 seconds left, power play. Iginla taken to the wall with effectiveness by Cibak. Sent to the outside to Richards. Right back again and turning is LeCavalier. Right at the side of the net. It did not go over. Animatedly waving his arms is Steve Walkham. It was 3-0. It was almost 4-0, except for Stana. 3-0 Canada.
Yeah, there's a lot of commotion up here, and for good reason. I'm with one of the great players of all time, one of the great people of all time, Jean Beliveau, whose number is retired here, a Hall of Famer, 10 Stanley Cups as a player. Tell me what you think of the World Cup thus far.
I think it's just a fabulous thing. I wish I was born 35 years, or I was born 35 years too early. But it's a great, amazing thing. It's good for everybody. It's good for the game, good for the player. Look at the fans.
You know, we've heard so much talk in the last few years about changes in the game that could make the game better. Are you in favor of making any changes at all?
Not really. Look, when the game is well played, like we witnessed last night, and what we watched for half of the game tonight, I don't really think so. They're talking about taking the red line away. How can you have a power play if you take the red line away?
Only you would know.
Well, you cannot. Your point man cannot sustain the attack. So no, not really. Maybe if the ice surface was a little wider, maybe, because today the average size is much bigger. I'd be only average today, and we could skate. Most of the players today have good shot. They could skate a little better.
We appreciate your time, and you look great. Glad you're healthy. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
What an amazing man. Oh, my goodness.
A cancer survivor.
Oh, boy.
And 17 Stanley Cups if you count the ones as an administrator with the Montreal Canadiens.
17 Stanley Cups.
Not every one of those brought a ring, because at one time there weren't rings. But here's Doan, nudged right off. John once told me that he doesn't really wear much jewelry. He doesn't like it, but he said, I think people like to see the rings. They say they do, so I always wear one of them. Never two. Out of 17, imagine he's had a few that have been given to him since his playing days that he didn't originally get when he had won. But what a gentleman. Teams are at full strength. While we were talking to John, there was a review upstairs of that close call around Stana. But they looked at the videotape and it was ruled to be no goal.
Right call.
Nagy brings it on. Just over 7 minutes to go in this second period. It's been mostly Canada. Only 2 shots have come off Slovakian sticks in this period. Worldwide ranking since 2002, the most successful team in all of the world tournaments, and of course this would be considered in it too when the results come in. Canada #1, Sweden #2, and Slovakia #3. That's in the last 3 years. And the major Slovakian teams have been coached by Jan Filc, the man who is in charge of the Slovakian team tonight. Paid on for Iginla, chipped on back for Lemieux, sent across now to Foot. Had a Foot scaled it back in.
Canada's backside pressure is one of the most one of their best assets in this game. They're coming back hard on the back check, and they're causing a lot of turnovers that way.
Quick with the stick with Stana there. Here comes Iginla moving in. Able to emerge with it. Little jamming by Sakic at the front, and Jerome Iginla flipped one across that's just directed away. Thought he might have something with Lemieux parked to the left side of the net, but it didn't get there. Floated on now for a drive. Oh, and a remarkable save by Brodeur on a top shelf attempt by Chatin. The Montreal guy comes up big in his hometown again, and they like it here. 3-0 in favor of the home team here in the second period. It's a part of their heritage. They grow up with this sport. They invented this sport. It's a roller coaster of emotion every night. The expectations in Canada, if you play, are very high. But so far, through a game and a half here, they have delivered. A 2-1 win over the United States last night, and doing a tremendous job on Slovakia tonight, leading 3-0 and holding them down offensively. That's Slovakia's main strength, was their offense. Darren talked about it at the beginning of our program tonight. The defense is not regarded as strong despite Chara's presence, and their goalkeeping is not terribly experienced, which is a curse that a lot of teams in this World Cup have. Centering pass is kicked aside by Ryan Smyth. Punched along further by Bartechko. Jostles in the corner. Somik moved to the net there. A penalty is coming up, and it will be against Team Canada. So Slovakia, with 5¼ minutes to go in the second, will have another power play.
Well, that's what Slovakia has to do, is get the puck down low and start cycling, getting the Canadian defenseman turning around. And it looks like it's Lecavalier who came back in support of Pat Quinn's Canadian team, and he got caught with a slash. Let's go back to the great glove save by Martin Brodeur. And it was on Miroslav Stana right here, the left-hand shot, trying to go high to the glove side on the far side after the puck bounced right over the stick of Ginla. And this is a wonderful save. I mean, that's the thing about Martin Brodeur, is he will give you a whole lot of different looks. He won't just do one thing and play the percentages. He's got great hands.
The first power play for Slovakia was only 31 seconds before a penalty turned that into a 4-on-4. Here's Big Char at the back and a shot, and Brodeur found it. It was knocked down and cleared away, and so they'll have to retrieve. And last wall is up, isn't it?
Yeah, Doc. In last night's game against USA, Pat Quinn talked an awful lot about all the traffic that was in front of Marty Brodeur, thinking the U.S. took a lot of liberties. Although Marty, again, casually said, I didn't think it was too bad. I've been watching in front of the paint here, and Slovakia's not getting in his kitchen too much.
Following a successful 2003 campaign, quarterback Alex Smyth and the Utah Utes look to start this season with a win against Dennis Franchione's Texas A&M Aggie team. College football primetime presented by Cooper Tires Thursday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Texas A&M Utah is also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator, DirecTV, or the Dish Network today. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Beginning this weekend, hockey helmets are not the only ones. College football gets going. You like Michigan this year? I do.
You do, huh? You are biased.
I'm biased.
I'm a Fighting Illini fan, being from Wheaton, Illinois now.
Good luck. Gaborik, a backhander, and that one ricocheted wide. To the outside they work it. That's Stana. Still plenty of time on the power play, going for the first goal tonight. Stana shot, save Brodeur, rebound, hop back over for Gagne, and Gagne cannot clear, but got help from Richards to do it. Emrick stays out there, why not? Wisnowski out there too, has to help out. Boy, good work done by Shane Doan. Wisnowski able to scatter a pass ahead that's brought back on by Stana. Stana sized up by Eric Brewer. Then to Dimitra. The international chant that we've heard in several cities, the presumption is things are well in hand. But out in front of Stana and a save by Brodeur, and it's cleared back down.
Marian Gaborik just slammed his stick on the ice, snapped it in half as he was going to the bench. He is frustrated. He has been denied 4 or 5 times at least in this hockey game, and he is one sour camper now.
Oh, nearly a 2 against perhaps 1 or maybe just the goaltender, but here comes Ryan Smyth in and a drive. Oh, a headhunter that got the glass and careened out to center. A message shot.
Oh, actually, the next one should go low along the ice. Get the goalie lifting a little bit. Not a bad move.
Lintner is banged into by LeCavalier. To the outside, Danny Heatley moves to the slot. LeCavalier, a shot that's wide. Now it's Hannon. Then it's Smyth. Warming to the task, Team Canada. Fed on to Heatley. Misfires on the pass, and Hannon out of the San Jose Sharks chases it down for Canada. Skipped a pass along that is lobbed back by Lintner as Slovakia makes a change at the bench, and out of the tangle, it's turned on back to Hannon. 2:20 to go in the second period. Niedermeyer hands on to Heatley. Cannot get the pass through, and then it's Sakic. You know, Jean Beliveau was talking about making the ice surface wider. Would that have an effect on goals? We can presume the effect it would have on the players in front, but what about goals?
Well, it definitely changes up your angle and your position in the net, but you would get used to that. You could make that change quite easily. I don't mind that idea one bit.
Puck scooped up by Brodeur, and he holds once more.
And Brodeur has been strong. Just a pillar of strength and calmness back there in net. And right now, the Slovakian team has had 16 shots on goal, and Martin Brodeur has been perfect. Of course, his father, Denis Brodeur, the longtime photographer of the Montreal Canadiens. Here's Marian Gaborik. And why does he do that? Well, it's a little bit of immaturity and frustration, but it's also Martin Brodeur who has nullified him.
It's not a bad batch of sticks, is it?
Got it right on the heel. One hand, there's no way any stick's going to be able to handle that.
Radivojevic poked it on. Carried further by Orsov. Orsov with a little bit of an opening. Not a good angle. Alinka round behind. Radivojevic staggers down, shoved further. On the back, Chara's shot blocked off by the waffle board of Brodeur, and Radivojevic taken out well by San Luis. No rebound. Flipped out in front. Brodeur had helped to paddle that one away. It's handball back up the boards, but not yet out. Littner kept play going. Penalty is coming out. And maybe more.
It's Halinka's helmet that's on the ice in front of Martin Brodeur. Chara jumps in there. Now the faceoff will be outside because the two defensemen of Slovakia have moved into the scrum. Otherwise, the faceoff would be inside and to the right of Martin Brodeur. Now it'll be the outside. The only penalty that I'm looking at right now is Halinka of the Slovakian team, a high-sticking minor. But it's Halinka's helmet that's actually off as a result of the scrum in front of the net.
Halinka, 31, one of the late additions to this team. They've had several injuries, but he has played his entire career in Europe. Most of the players on this team are NHLers. He's an exception.
Well, here's Halinka in front of the net right here. And Marty's actually got his stick. See, Marty had lost his stick, so he'd actually had grabbed the shaft, the bottom part where the blade is, of the stick of Halinka. But because of maybe what happened last night and all the talking that Pat Quinn had, making everybody aware of the contact in front of the net, maybe Brodeur got away with one there.
Quinn's message was probably more for the officials.
That's what I mean. And look what happens. The minute Halinka's right there. Halinka wasn't even in the crease right there, and it was his stick that was being held.
Final 50 of the period. The Toyota World Cup of Hockey from Montreal. We sure hope you're enjoying this one tonight. 3-0 Canada ahead. Along with Joe Micheletti downstairs and Darren Pang, Mike Emrick. Here is Iginla. Cross. Gets it from Lemieux. Oh, and that one is held by Stana. He was going short side high. What an artful goal it would have been, but the glove of Stana took care of everything else.
And the soft, supple hands of Mario Lemieux. The puck came onto his stick. He was ready for a one-timer, and he looked like he might have fired it, but he took the pass from Iginla. And while everyone's looking like shot, he puts it right back to Jerome, and the goaltender made an unbelievable read because he could have overcommitted, first of all, in pushing from his left to his right, but he stayed on his feet and he kept his balance to make a great save on Iginla.
Here's Sakic, still working on this power play. Into the back, a drive by Lemieux, and that deflected wide.
Mario has changed his position now. He was on the far side in the opening period and against the USA. Now he's moved to the right side.
Why would he do that?
Just to change up the look a little bit, not make it so obvious.
Lemieux given a good shoulder by Chara. Jostling on the boards, Bartechko went down. Reaching in Lemieux. The horn sounds. The siren goes. People rise to applaud. Second period is over. And it is Simon Gagne striking in that period, the only goal. Canada decisively ahead now after 40 minutes, 3-0.
Also, Barry, some big news in hockey. Maybe not as big, but to hockey fans, very big. The NHL, well...
Yep. Well, they're talking, and if they're talking, they ain't walking, and that's all that's important to me, is that they are talking. They've talked 2 days in a row, scheduled to continue to talk. That's good news for hockey fans.
Yeah, the NHL and the NHLPA meeting for a second straight day in Montreal. Here's the quote coming from the NHL Players Association Senior Director Ted Saskin. Quote, following 2 days of discussions with the league, both parties have agreed to continue meeting tomorrow in Montreal. I will comment further on the meetings at the conclusion of Thursday's session. Of course, we'd wanted to hear from representatives from both the NHL and the NHLPA during these intermission reports, but hey, it's better that they're talking to each other and not talking to us.
The one thing I would like to see the players come up with a proposal. Right now, the owners are giving proposals to the players. The players are saying none of them are any good. Let the players come up with a proposal, something they can live with. Then we've got two areas. We've got the owner's side, we've got the players' side. Then both sides can negotiate. They've got a starting point. So I'd like to see the players come to the forefront and give a proposal to the owners instead of just one-sided all the time.
We need to get some common ground, and then maybe they can work.
Common sense, too, man.
Common sense and common ground, and maybe they can work out this thing in the next 2 weeks. Let's hope for that. Today, we did have a little appetizer here on the World Cup of Hockey. Sweden flexing their muscle against the Czech Republic. Czechs with a late rally at the end. Full highlights, full details coming your way next. Welcome. Welcome back to the Toyota Intermission Report. Barry, Melrose, David Amber, Joe Thornton, Ryan Smyth, Simon Gagne giving Canada a 3-0 lead. The young guy scoring, but maybe it's another guy leading the way.
Well, I'll tell you, David, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought maybe Mario Lemieux was only picked to this team as a symbolic gesture to a great player whose best years are behind him. I didn't know how big a factor he was going to be in the World Cup, but I'll tell you, I'm eating crow. The last 2 games, this guy has changed the way he plays. He's grinding, he's winning physical battles, and yet with his talent, when he gets the puck, he can still make a beautiful play like we saw to again. He's changed the way he played in order to help this team win. He's a leader. When Mario's out there hitting, grinding, winning physical battles, how can some of those young guys on the bench not get pumped up and go out there and play the best hockey they played? Inspirational leader right now for Canada. I'm very, very impressed with the way he's played and how hard he's playing.
He's throwing his body around. 6'4",
Yes,
230. He can afford to throw his body around. 38-year-old, definitely back from injury. Earlier today, Sweden and the Czech Republic getting it on in Stockholm. Sweden a perfect 1-0 so far in this tournament. The Czech Republic not looking good early.
Well, the Swedes dominated the game the first 2 periods. The Czechs again looked disinterested, very disappointing if you're a Czech fan. But later in the 3rd period, they really came out. They looked like they cared. They looked like they wanted to win this game. They almost did. Late in the game, they had a couple of chances to tie. They were on a power play with the goalie pulled the last minute of the game and had a couple chances. Tellqvist now looks like he might be the goaltender for the Swedes.
Czech Republic, 3 goals in the 3rd period, but not enough. They lose 4-3. Their 9th straight World Cup of Hockey loss. Sweden, a perfect 2-0. And yes, as you said, Barry, Michael Tellqvist, not Tommy Salo, between the pipes for Team Sweden, but they improve to 2-0. Here's how it stacks up. Barry, your thoughts?
Well, Sweden and Finland will be playing. Finland will beat Germany. They'll be playing to see who plays Germany, because I got to think the Czechs will rebound and beat Germany. So that is a huge game for Sweden and Finland. They don't like each other anyways. Canada right now is the class of this division, but we haven't seen the Russians play yet.
Russia and the U.S. getting it on tomorrow night. A game, of course, you can see her on the full ESPN network. Should be a dandy. Oh, what a period it's been and what a game it's been for Team Canada. Simon Gagne lighting the lamp. 3-0, Canada on top.
ESPN2's presentation of the Toyota World Cup of Hockey is brought to you by the Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized. And Samuel Adams. When you're ready for a distinctive brew, Samuel Adams. Always a good decision.
49 seconds of a carryover penalty against Alinka for Slovakia, and so the power play gets to work for Canada here early in the 3rd. Well, through 2, it's been a clinic, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think 2 games in a row now that Team Canada's power play has been awesome.
Lemieux shoved down, gets back up again.
I like the 2 units that they're using.
Great chance there. A big ball went up from the crowd. Niedermeyer in front. A shot, and Stana got that one too and paddled it away. Now Lecavalier. Niedermeyer spars a bit with Chara. Are both coming off. Looks like Chara's the one getting the lecture from Don Van Massenhoven, but Niedermeyer will go too.
Well, let's recap the goals that have gone on here for Canada in this hockey game here. Great steal by Joe Thornton early on, and he really set the tone with that. Ryan Smyth, an unheralded player for Team Canada, with the great backhand attempt, and then the pass by Martin St. went off the shaft of the stick of Chara and right onto the backhand of the Philadelphia Flyers' Simon Gagne. That made it 3-0. And now we've seen the 2 players that most talked about to win the Norris Trophy last year, and it ended up that Niedermeyer won the trophy and Zdeno Chara was a runner-up, and they're both in the penalty box.
Here's a shot by Adam Foote that's deflected away down to the last 5 seconds of this abbreviated power play here in the 3rd for Canada. Oh, and Richards a shot, and Stana stopped that one. Held by Brewer. Short-handed situation over for Slovakia. Here's Richards, a lot of room, fitted across. Oh!
What vision by Brad Richards. Tremendous play to find Martin St. on the far side of the ice when everyone's looking at Richards, and the puck ends up right on the tape of St. Louis. What a play. Just fabulous stuff. Richards had time and he had space to go wide. He's got the puck here, a little fake here. Now he's got time, feathers it across, and with one knee on the ice, Martin St. Louis got himself in good position. Great reaction from the Red Wings. Chris Draper from bench side.
4 points for St. Louis. 6 goals scored by his team over the last 26 hours. He joined Team Canada, which uses the locker room that the Montreal Canadiens normally have, and that's with all the pictures and the plaques and the slogans that have gone back through 80 years of Montreal Canadiens history. And he said, I was a little nervous. I'd never been in the room before. Came here yesterday and was in the room really for the first time to get a look at it and see what it was all about. Would be a little nerve-wracking when you consider the tradition. It sure has bothered him a lot, hasn't it?
Man, I remember the first time as a reporter going in there in that locker room and talking to Patrick Waugh in the old Montreal Forum, and it's just so phenomenal. I bet you could compare it to a golfer going to St. Andrews for the first time and walking the hallowed grounds there. But like a guy like Martin St. Louis being there and looking around, and just probably an overwhelming and such a humbling experience to be there. As we take a look again, Richards got nice patience here. He could have made a couple of plays. He waited, and then he knew that Martin St. Louis, who's a left-hand shot, was going to be able to release that puck quickly. If St. Louis is a right-hand shot, Doc, that's going to be a very difficult play, and I bet Richards doesn't even make that play if that was the case.
4-0 Canada. Third period of play, and the experience that Martin St. Louis had going into the Canadiens' locker room. Depending on the day that you're here, if you ever decide to visit this city and you want to see that, it is often part of the tour. If you get the tour on a day that there's not a game, where that locker room is in use, and you can go in and kind of drink in all of the history of this glorious team that has the all-time record in the NHL for most Stanley Cups. Ahead with this, a big miss, and Bartexko goes around behind. The way Canada wanted to hit, that's one of the few that they've missed in the last 2 nights. Goes near St. Louis again, pumped on back. More control by Hannon, flipped it ahead, bunted right down to Richards. Well, you have the feeling that if St. Louis and Richards were on the same expressway, somehow or other, one car's puck would go ahead and would be perfectly on the front tire of the other one, wouldn't it?
Oh, something else.
Dealt back out to center.
Our Stanley Cup final this year was something real special, and you've seen a lot of these players that played against each other in a hard-fought 7-game series, playing and representing your country, or Canada anyway, in this one, and all of a sudden your teammates. So quite a turn of events emotionally, I'm sure, for all these guys.
Held around behind and played back further. The prize money for winning this whole thing at the end of the 14th, boy, what a feat for Draper, is $1 million to the winner. And it all goes to hockey associations in their country, as well as charities that they pick out in their country. There's not a lot of... Let's check in with Joe Micheletti downstairs.
Mike, thanks very much. Kevin Lowe's the general manager of the Edmonton Oilers and one of the architects, along with his good buddy Wayne Gretzky, of this Canadian team. Give me your thoughts on the way your team's played thus far. You got to be happy, aren't you?
Yeah, we are, Joey. We were a little concerned that the guys might be a little tired after last night's game against the U.S., but they responded pretty well. We're throwing 4 lines and 6 deep pretty regularly, and I think we got enough energy to get this one.
I mentioned to Jerome McGinley, you won the gold medal in 2002, but this is a different team. Give me your thoughts as to why you changed this team around and what your thoughts are with this team.
Well, our philosophy in 2002 was to take the best Canadians available, and we did the same thing this time around. Even though there are a lot of young players, they're players that have just won a championship in Tampa Bay, for instance. They're the best Canadians.
Have they surprised you at all, some of these young guys?
In a way, because they're so young, but the fact that they won a Stanley Cup championship, it shouldn't surprise me, because it takes that grit and intensity and savvy to win a cup.
You know that. Good to be with you, Kevin. Appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thanks, John.
Guys.
Committed to Edmonton. Member of the team in the glory years when championships just seemed to flow like water. And now a part of working with this team, despite the limitations sometimes of budget that Canadian teams have faced more so in the past than in the present. But he has done a marvelous job with the Edmonton Oilers, Kevin Lowe.
Don't forget about that Stanley Cup in '94 with the New York Rangers.
Darren forgetting it in New York, coming by with Cibak, but overskated. Given right up again, though, for a feed in front of Brodeur. Save, rebound, they score! Just a giveaway back in the Canadian defensive end, and Brodeur could not stop the second one, and so Slovakia has gotten on the board for the first time.
Cibak came in and picked up the loose change. Martin Brodeur was leaning one way, and after the Canadian team's Eric Brewer had control of the puck, his backhand attempt went off Le Cavalier, and that results in the turnover. And then it was a lucky bounce that went right on the tape to Cibak. You see that Martin Brodeur is leaning one way. Now he's overcommitted to the far side. He's got no chance on this one whatsoever. But it all starts with control of the puck by Brewer and just a misplay right off the skate of Le Cavalier, and that's what happens. And the Slovakians, they've worked pretty hard in the offensive zone. That's their 20th shot on goal. They finally beat Martin Brodeur on a broken play. Every clean opportunity they've had, Brodeur's been there.
Joseph Stumpel brings it back ahead for Slovakia. Over to Opsud, who played it back in, and Brodeur went out but could not stop it.
They've got to be inspired by the Czech Republic's uninspired first two periods, but yet they came back today against Sweden and nearly tied up that game. Of course, Sweden won that game this afternoon 4-3, but you never give up. Momentum can change in a hurry.
Well, earlier it was a loss by the Czech Republic in Finland 4-0, and that is a team that has been shaken. They lost their coach Ivan Hlinka to an automobile accident in August. Vladimir Ruzicka has come in to replace him, but this has been very hard for them emotionally, and their performance has just suffered right at the start of games. What a tremendous rally near the end, but it was Tellqvist hanging on in goal for Sweden.
Well, how about if you're
a change too?
Yeah, absolutely. But what if you're a Colorado Avalanche fan and you tune in this afternoon to watch your hero Milan Hajduk, a healthy scratch? Milan Hajduk for Team Czech Republic. You got to be kidding me.
This was a team that really stubbed its toe in '96 in the last World Cup, losing a huge game in Germany to Germany 7-1, and did not even get to make the trip over. Here's Brewer in, and a save made by Stana.
Oh, he had Martin St. Louis coming down the pipe too. St. Louis was looking for the pass, and I don't think Brewer saw him. Otherwise, he might have handed it off right there. St. Louis getting better with every shift here, but keep your eye on the right side of the screen, right in the middle on the right. There's St. Louis. He's got that stick ready too. And then you've got Richards to the left of the goaltender. He was wide open as well. So Brewer decided I might as well put the puck on net, see what can happen. And the goaltender Stana makes an easy save.
Hannon a shot that glanced off the linesman. Martin St. Louis, 5'9", 185. And you ask him how many times in his younger years he was told he was too small. I can't even count. In a number of towns. But when he got to the University of Vermont, they saw that this could become a wonderful player.
Well, he's not a great little player. He's a great player. And I love that, and hopefully that'll give many more smaller players the opportunity to play in this league. We've got too many great little players that can flat out play, and they need a chance to play. And it's interesting enough, Team Canada has taken, of their 26 players, 24 are major junior A players. Only 2 are collegiate players. Danny Heatley, who's going to get the puck right now, and Martin St. Louis.
Here's Heatley walking in, had it knifed off his stick onto the back for a shot that ricocheted down, and Slovakia breaks out. Moving ahead is Radivojevic. Ranko Radivojevic tried to center, and it was just cut right off by Niedermayer, and the flow of the play starts to break down. Nagy just jostled aside. Good defensive work done by Hannon. Dealt back to center, and Heatley. Headman's ahead. Le Cavalier looks for Smyth. Shoots. Hit the post. Rebound. They score! Ryan Smyth, and it's 5-1.
Le Cavalier on the right side is a left-hand shot. Tried to go to the far side, and that shot rang right off the post. And then the rebound was right on the tape to Ryan Smyth. Smith's got 2 goals in this game. None easier than that one right there. But he drove hard to the net, and that's one of the keys. Le Cavalier thought he had Stana beat with this wicked little wrist shot, but instead it hit the post. And an odd man break for Canada results in the 5th goal of the game.
Played ahead now for Hossa. So a 4-goal deficit. And you can think back on Slovakia's night. I know we have 12 and a half to go.
Yeah.
But Canada is not showing that kind of vulnerability. When you think back on their night, you're going to say, we've got great chances. We couldn't get it past the goalie. And that was the way it got set. St. Louis with 1, Smyth with 2, Gagne with 1, Thornton with 1, 5-1 in favor of Canada. Toyota World Cup of Hockey tonight from Montreal. Just thrilling cities to see games. Next it'll be St. Paul, where they haven't had an empty seat for the Wild since they got there. And Toronto. Taken away from Hossa. Brought back ahead by Richards. Well, what will he do this time? Got held up and jostled to the corner by Wisnowski. And it's lobbed for Shatan. Gagne able to take over, though, out of the Philadelphia Flyers. Then it's broken up and lobbed ahead. Dimitra can't get very far as it went by him, and it's Niedermayer.
You know, it's been quiet for Slovakia. I was expecting more as Marian Hossa. He's been a quiet player here.
They've done a good job on Dimitra, too.
They have. I mean, you know, Dimitra, I think, is still at his best as a winger, but he's been moved to center as a member of the St. Louis Blues the last couple of years. They're lacking a crafty, creative centerman to feed the wingers that they have.
Marching ahead with this is Gagne. Flung it on to St. Louis. Omnipresent. Gets it back again on the flick. Drops it back in for Gagne. To the outside, away from Richards. Kept alive, though, by Hannon. Hannon and Niedermayer, the defense now for Canada. Wisnowski twists it the other way. Second effort, he's able to nudge it ahead. Dimitra sets it up. Brought on now by Marian Gaborik. Gaborik crossing. Got it on for Wisnowski. Slipped away by Niedermayer, and it bounced on behind.
What a read that was defensively by Niedermayer. He came right up to the blue line. He took away that lane, and it gave him no time and space to make a play inside the blue line.
Last time these two teams met in international competition of meaning, it was at the World Championships this spring, and Canada won 2-1 on a setup by Rob Niedermayer, Scott's brother, who was playing for Canada. Jan Lasik was the goalie. Niedermayer ran into him behind the net. Puck came out in front where it was stashed in. And Slovakia was very unhappy because this was a semifinal match. Canada went on to the gold medal game. Drive is jabbed away by Brodeur and sent ahead to center. Halfway through the third period. 5-1, an impressive night for Canada. Last night a 2-1 win over the United States. The U.S. will be playing Slovakia in a couple of nights, but tomorrow night we'll be playing Russia in St. Paul. Russia's hometown is St. Paul. For this tournament, they're training at the University of Minnesota.
Pretty good place to train.
Oh, I may have committed a goof. That's in Minneapolis, isn't it? The arena's in St. Paul.
That's right.
The training, yeah. Well, I better not go there. Knocked away from Radivojevic, and after it now is Smyth. Smyth crossing, twists a little pass. LeCavalier, dog from behind. Oh, and another artful pass. Nearly got across the way to Danny Heatley, but it's back to center as they're toying with them now.
They are. They're making some risky plays. They're having some fun. They're dangling with the puck.
Smith's drive deflected away. Stumple jabbed it back ahead. Little hook there, but back it comes off of Hossa. A little jabbing across the way, and coming by was Chara.
Oh boy, did he ever jump in there in a hurry.
Ahead now is Draper, and a save made by Stana. And back to center ice taken by Robin Regeer. Jostled away from him. Hossa brings it on. Hossa flips, and that one canceled aside. You look at Hossa and Shatan and some of those players, they're going to like this fire wagon back and forth. It'll be fun for them, too, despite the fact they're down by 4.
Yeah, I like the way Chara jumped in there on that little physical altercation on the side. He really sticks up for his teammates. A great team player.
Draper then back to the corner, gets it once more. Chris Draper from the Detroit Red Wings. Gives it back over now for Joe Thornton, who had the first goal of this game at 3:02 of the first period. Pass deflected back to center, and Hannon takes over there.
3 of the 5 goals by Canada in the tournament so far have been scored in the first 5 minutes of a period. So if you're playing against them, you prepare for that early onslaught because they are prepared to play.
Brought ahead by Gaborik. Racks from 1, gives ahead. Dimitra's shot, eaten up by Brodeur. Dealt right back to the wing.
That's not going in the net, Doc. Those are not going to go in the net behind Marty Brodeur from that far out.
Gagne swings the net. Trickled one in front that bounced off St. Louis. Regrabs and hands to Brewer. Then to Robin Regeer, a wrister, and that one guided away by Stana. Shots are 30-23 Canada. On to the back now, Robin Regeer once more. sees Richards roughed up a little bit and moved in, but it's taken over now by Slovakia. A little pass was off the mark for Dimitra by Gabrick, and he comes to the bench for a change in lines. Pass escaped away from Richards and goes back down. Icing touch-up. So it is Ryan Smyth with a couple of goals in this contest. His team is way ahead, and even though the crowd is silent right now, they've had a lot to cheer about tonight. 5-1 Canada. Another exciting night for these fans here. They're now doing the waves in the third period. Their team way ahead, 5-1.
Well, you know, we expected that it would be difficult for Slovakia in terms of in their zone and the inexperience on their blue line other than Zdeno Chara. And goaltending-wise, the difference in last night's game early on was clearly Robert Esch's brilliant performance. But Stana, who just made that save there, Doc, he had to be good early. They could not afford to be in a deficit by giving up some goals early on and allowing Canada that confidence offensively. So he wasn't able to weather the storm, and unfortunately got better as the game's gone on, but not good enough early on to salvage anything. But I mean, Slovakia, you can't take them lightly. This is a proud group of guys, and they do get their chances.
Well, he's up against the biggest offensive arsenal that any of the teams have.
Yep.
And for him to learn, here's Sakic, a shot that is blocked away by Stana. For him to learn now, there's really no penalty if his team loses, because everyone comes in after the first 3 games.
Yeah.
All of them come in and are 0-0 the start of that. Mario Lemieux's pretty impressive tonight. So's his team at 5-1. The Toyota World Cup of Hockey. Thrilling times over these next 10 days. 8 nations are involved, playing in 2 4-team divisions. In Europe, 2 semifinalists will emerge at the end of the 10 days. September 10th from Sweden, Finland, Czech Republic, and Germany. 2 will come from the North American games, the 4 teams in that division. 2 of them you see tonight here in Slovakia and Canada, as well as the U.S. and Russia. Then the semifinals are held in St. Paul and Toronto, with the final game September 14th in Toronto. Some of the most talented players in the world right now, and they're all going to be seen in these World Cup of Hockey telecasts brought to you by Toyota. It's just a thrill to be a part of it.
Absolutely is. Whenever you're part of the best playing the best, and there's no doubt about it. And Tony Amani was Canada's version of Paul Henderson back in 1972 in the Summit Series. He scored the game-winning goal in 1996 in the best of 3. And boy, was Mike Richter great in that tournament, huh? Mike Richter was the difference in that tournament. Boy, oh boy, he was good.
Made the big difference, got the big motorcycle.
He sure did, absolutely.
The MVP prize. Every game they salute an MVP for both teams. Be hard to choose for Canada tonight. Jarome Iginla, captain of Calgary. Just another one of the great players here tonight.
If Calgary wins the Stanley Cup last year, Jarome Iginla would have been that MVP, I'm sure of that. In this hockey game here, he takes a nifty feed from Vincent Lecavalier and doesn't score on the short side. Then a give and go, Mario and Iginla, and a great save by Stana. Keep in mind that give and go with Vincent Lecavalier. Remember the fight that they got in the middle of that series last year? A terrific fight that really changed the momentum, and Jarome got better right after that. And really, Lecavalier went in a bit of a shell, but then Lecavalier got better the last couple of games when Tampa Bay needed it most.
Well, in this sport, normally a fight is not for a lifetime. It can be turned around if he becomes a teammate. Here is a shot by Doan and a rebound that was spiked away from Draper. Chris Draper working now with Thornton, and Doan onto the back it comes for a play to be made around the wall by Brewer. But it's Hossa, and then Draper. Oh, it came right into the glove of Stana, and so with 5:01 to go in the third, 5-1 Canada.
Well, coming up on September 7th, you got a Show Your Spirit Day. Wear your favorite team's apparel to work. In exchange, each participant can make a donation of $5 or more to the V Foundation to benefit cancer research. Anyone can participate. Log on to jimmyv.org, the Jimmy V Foundation. I just came back from the tournament in Cary, North Carolina. What a wonderful event. Our own John Saunders and Stuart Scott there as well, and Trey Wingo, and a fantastic event that raised millions and millions of dollars to battle cancer. So never give up. Never, ever give up. Right, Doc?
It's true.
As you well know, buddy.
Yeah, 13 years now. Cary, North Carolina, very close to Raleigh, very close to Ron Francis and all of his teammates with the Carolina Hurricanes.
A lot of them there. Jimmy Rutherford was on hand. Fantastic event, really wonderful.
Laid around behind for control by Suchi. Gabrick, who has had some wonderful chances in this game, but just could not bury them early. Might have helped his team's fate in the contest. They trail in this one 5-4 with just over 4 minutes to go. Turned right back over to Lemieux. But we do not have the real-time numbers in this tournament that we're used to during the regular season. It's not done during this tournament. But Mario Lemieux's ice time tonight must be double or maybe even double and a half from what he had in the first game. There was a question about whether he would play back-to-back games, because sometimes with Pittsburgh he does not. But he's getting more time, more opportunity, and the fans are staying around not only to celebrate Team Canada's performance at the end of this game, but also to see if he can connect on one.
And you never know, Doc, with a lockout happening or possibly happening, you know, it may be the last time Montreal fans see Mario Lemieux live and in person.
The chant is Mario.
There you go. Great stuff.
Woo! Laid back in by Lemieux, who stays out. Could not handle that one behind as we're down to the last 3:05. Heatley, LeCavalier. Lemieux has come off. Gets an ovation from the fans just going to the bench. They have a wonderful appreciation for the sport here.
Well, Mario played only 10 games last year because of the injury to his hip. But he did play 3 back-to-back games, which of course he's doing tonight. And in those 3 games, he had a goal and 3 assists with 4 points. So obviously all the great work that he has done with his training staff and T.R. Goodman out of Los Angeles, out of Venice, at the pro camp that he has gone to, has it ever paid off? And I talked to TR today. Doc, I know the guys were talking about last night and how much work that Mario put into it. He's planning on going back there right after the World Cup.
My goodness.
I mean, so it's not just for hockey. It's to keep that body of his in great shape. And they've done a lot of great work. T.R. Goodman has been so impressed just with the great humility that Mario has shown there and working with everybody.
38 years of age, has come through Hodgkin's lymphoma, hip surgery, and the headaches of owning a team and saving it in Pittsburgh. Here's Hossa. Shot went off the wallet of the man in front of the net, Stumple, and kicked back out. You're right, and the same can be said for some of the other older players that may only have a year left. If nothing gets solved, this may be their last performance, because it's only speculative how long they will go if the season is only half saved or if it doesn't come along at all.
What a shame that would be.
1:50 to go. Adam Foote takes over for Canada's defense. Then Dimitrov. Such responsive crowds that we see. We always see that in Montreal. Even if the home team is not on one of its good years, they come charged up to cheer. It was that way in Quebec City, too.
Yep, sure was. Well, we talked about Mario early on in this game and talked about what he did in the game last night against USA. But the young kids that are new to this experience have really come to play, Doc. I mean, between Vincent LeCavalier, who has been tremendous in both games, both physically and offensively, and making plays, to obviously a guy like Joe Thornton that started it out, and I thought he had a wonderful game last night against the USA, to guys like Martin St. and Brad Richards. This is an opportunity for the future of Team Canada, and they are thriving.
Here's Heatley, there's Smyth. Oh, he had a hat trick at the end of his stick, but Stana reacted well. Gabrick could not pick his way through the defense. Good follow-up, though, by Dimitrov. Final minute of play in this contest. And we're going to get a penalty call against Canada. So a power play for Slovakia near the end here. We mentioned Martin Brodeur's goals against average as a player in this arena is about a 152. It will come down with this performance unless something happens in the last 57 to change it.
I don't imagine it's going to go down at all. As you see, Ken Hitchcock, one of the coaches there, the same coaching staff that they had in Salt Lake City in their 2002 gold medal game against the USA. Hitchcock, Pat Quinn, Wayne Fleming, Jacques Martin. Nice coaching staff.
They have 10 men back from that team. You're allowed a roster of 26, but you can only suit up the normal of an NHL night, 18 skaters and 2 goalkeepers. So you have 6 hungry ones waiting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to USA's performance tomorrow night in front of their home crowd. The people in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul area are going to get behind them, boy, and that should be a dandy against Russia.
Our spies are telling us that Alex Kovalev has been on fire for Russia in the exhibition games. So that will be a challenge, too. Here's Chara with 20 to go. Let's listen to this crowd. They're all standing to applaud perhaps individual players, but a collective effort. They're proud of their team. There may be one last chance. 2 to go. Aginla with a shot held by Stana. The siren goes, and this one is history.
Wonderful and expected performance by Team Canada following the momentum of a tough one last night in the win against the U.S. And for Martin Brodeur, he was the difference early on, robbing Mary and Gabrick amongst others. And the Slovakian team and their inexperience inside their own blue line, just not good enough to handle Team Canada.
Final score in the game. Canada 5, Slovakia 1, played before 21,273 mostly elated fans. Wayne Gretzky, who put the team together, liked what he saw tonight too. The U.S. and Russia coming up tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, as the Toyota World Cup of Hockey continues. A night of anger and emotion on the part of Slovakia. Celebration and emotion on the part of Ryan Smyth, who almost had 3. Big night in Montreal for the Canadians. 5-1 from Montreal. Good night, all.
Canada simply dominating in this one, 5-1 final. Barry Melrose, David Amber, a big story for Canada at least. In Montreal tonight, they get the big win, 5-1 over Slovakia. What impressed you most, Barry?
The depth of Canada. They got so many weapons. I thought Mary Lemieux was great. I think Canada playing Brodeur tonight against Slovakia showed the respect they have for Slovakia and that they were worried about a letdown in today's game. So I think everything was great for Canada. Again, the depth we talked about. St. Louis was great again tonight. Gagne showed great hands. There's just so many weapons. If you make a mistake against Canada, it ends up on someone's stick that can score a goal. Richards, great vision there to St. Louis. Men are in front of the net. Men are finishing checks. Defensemen jumping into the play. I thought Adam Foote had a great game defensively and offensively. Ryan Smyth got 2 goals. Could have had 3 goals. Could have had 4 goals. Just too many weapons for the great Canadian team. Too much depth for the Canadian team. Too many things that the other teams don't have. Canada's got 3 goalies that would be the first goalie probably for 5 of the 8 teams in this tournament. Brodeur certainly is the #1. I got to think Luongo or Theodore will get a game in the preliminary round just to make sure another goaltender has played some time. But I thought Lemieux's leadership, I thought the way he played, how hard he played, the intensity he played with is rubbing off on the younger players. And just overall, they're overcoming injuries to Jovanovski, to Blake, to Pronger. The young defense played great. So Canada's just playing so well right now and so confident.
Coach, you keep saying the D word, depth. If you look at Slovakia, no Ziggy Palffy, no Michael Handzus, no Peter Bondra. Those 3 combined have scored 896 NHL goals. Is Slovakia in big trouble the rest of this tournament?
Yeah, because on the good side, Gabrick was great. He was by far their best player. The bad news is Marian Hossa didn't show up, and I think Marian Hossa is one of the best players in the world. And if Hossa doesn't contribute offensively to this team, they're not going to win. Defensively, they were okay. Canada comes out in that building so fired up. They scored a quick goal against the United States. They scored 2 quick ones tonight against Slovakia. You can't get down to Canada. Then they just go into a defensive game plan waiting for you to make a mistake. But with those injuries to Slovakia, the other guy's got to pick it up. Hossa's got to play better, or this team won't win a game.
Barry, home ice advantage has meant everything so far in the World Cup of Hockey. Home teams are perfect 5-0 now. Canada 2-0, Sweden 2-0, Finland 1-0.
Well, the big game coming up in that division is Sweden and Finland, because that will be for first place overall in Finland to see who plays the Germany team, which will probably finish last. Swedes and Finns hate each other anyway, so I expect that to be one of the best games of the preliminary round.
Now, the opening game of our doubleheader this afternoon was the Czech Republic taking on Sweden, and early on it was all Sweden. This goal making it 4-0.
Well, Sweden looked like the best team in the world for 2 periods. They dominated the Czech team. The Czechs played much better today than in game 1, and they woke up in the 3rd period, completely dominating the 3rd period, made it 4-3. They had the goalie pulled on a power play the last minute of the period. Tellqvist made some good saves during that period of time. He certainly outplayed Salo and looks like he might be the goaltender of record for the rest of Sweden's games.
Tommy Salo not getting the start. Michael Tellqvist, the man who's won a grand total of 6 NHL games, getting the win today for Sweden. This Swedish team, remember, they picked up 3rd in the '96 World Cup, looking very good right now. We can tell you our Joe Micheletti standing by right now with Martin Brodeur. Let's take a listen.
Martin Brodeur played back-to-back games for Team Canada. How'd you feel?
Felt pretty good, actually. Took the morning off, so I'm used to it. I play a lot in New Jersey, but it's a little early in the season to do it, and I was kind of a little surprised that I got the start, but I was pretty excited also. You know, it's always fun to play around here in Montreal, and you know, it was a good game for us.
You got tested early because this team's got some good offensive players up front. Gabrick had some chances in the first. Tell us about some of the saves that you had to make in the first period.
Well, you know, I think the main one was probably the one on breakaway when I made a save, and after that I recovered the rebound also. You know, these guys, that's what they wait for. They wait on their power play and chances like that. So you always have to be careful. You know, defensively you got to be honest. You can't be cheating offensively because we're getting a lot of chances on these guys, but sometimes it comes back and bite us. But today I thought we played well, and we took advantage of how well we're playing defensively also. Of
course, you were the goaltender for Team Canada when you won the gold in Salt Lake in 2002. Yeah, of that group of defensemen, you had players like Al McInnes and Rob Blake and Chris Pronger, some veteran guys that are not on this team. How does that affect you at all?
Well, I think the experience, I think they're getting it right now, playing at a high level. These guys, they've been really good players for the NHL team. And a lot of success in the international hockey with the World Championship. I think Team Canada made sure that these young guys participated in these World Championship and then gained some experience and got some success with winning the last 2 gold medals over there. And so they come here, it's not new for them, you know, and they're playing well, and definitely it's going to get harder and harder, but they're learning, and we're learning to play with each other also.
Good playing, Marty. Thanks for the time.
Thanks.
All right, tomorrow, wall-to-wall action here on ESPN2. Finland and Germany, the puck drops at 1:30. And then check this out, Barry. USA and Russia, 7 p.m., the entree for what should be a feast of hockey.
Well, Finland's got to make sure they don't look ahead of Germany in order to play the Swedes, so they got to be ready to play Germany. United States and Russia, it goes back to 1980. I always look forward to these 2 teams playing each other.
What will be the difference in that USA-Russia game tomorrow?
Well, the USA had 1 question mark, and that was answered. Robert Esche played great against Canadians. If you can play great against Canadians, you can play great against anybody. So I think the United States feel really good about the way they played against Canada and really good about Robert Esche. The Russians on the other side of the coin, you do not know what you're going to get out of this team. A lot of Russian players did not want to come and play for this team. They do not believe in the sports federation, the hockey federation in Russia. A lot of problems internally on this team. You got Ovechkin, the first pick overall on the team. You've got Kovalchuk, one of the great young forwards in the world on this team. You've got Kovalev, one of the great offensive players in the world on this team. The Russians are as good as anybody, but they haven't played with a lot of heart the last few international tournaments, and they haven't been a cohesive unit the last couple of times they played in international tournaments.
And Barry, another note to pass along today, the NHL and the NHL Players Association meeting for the 2nd straight day in Montreal. Lengthy meetings for the 2nd straight day. They will meet again tomorrow. Maybe that's a good sign. Maybe some resolutions are being made. It is a great sign. It's a great sign they're talking, so that's always good. They are talking, and we will be seeing you again for a double dip tomorrow. Hope you're enjoying the World Cup of Hockey. This was day 3. It was a busy one. Canada, a perfect 2-0. Baseball coming your way, Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Some of you, NFL Live, enjoy SportsCenter at 11 Eastern on ESPN.